Buddy, happy Thursday. We're Thursday. That means it's almost Friday, which means we're a day away from blinking and it being Monday again. The days just go by so fast, quite frankly. But anyways, here we are. I had a grind of a week because this is my first month having a full, not full, but my first month in my new job having my own caseload with my own caseload responsibilities, and the end of month crunch at this job is real. I've never had this type of experience before. It's very stressful. But I made it. I still have, a couple more things to do, but I'm basically done for the month. My first real month. My second month overall, but my first month, like I said, with this specific responsibility on me after the training, even though I'm kind of doing the training and doing the work at the same time. But anyways, all of that to say, here we are. Wherever we are, here we are. I wanted to talk a little bit about seasons. Let's see how much time I have. I have about 30 minutes. I'm probably not going to be on here for 30, but I have about 30 minutes. I remember there was a time period, maybe a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, where a lot of bad things were happening in my life at the same time. And I remember a friend, I reached out, how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm okay. And it was one of those friends that doesn't let me say, oh, I'm okay. Because I'm okay is generally what I will say to most people. But it was a friend who was like, no, I don't want to hear I'm okay. I want to know what's wrong. What's the matter? Why are you kind of ho-hum? So I was like, all right, this and this and that is happening. Whatever is happening at that time, I was going through some kind of a valley. And they said something to me that still sticks with me today, actually. It was a really important thing. They said, Mark, this is not your season. And at first I was like, this is not my season. I mean, I thought that I would get some words of encouragement. Turn that frown upside down. Everything is going to be all right, But no, it's like, clearly this is not your season. There's so many different things happening to you. So just let us try this again. Let's try this again. So they told me this is your down season and next season is going to be your up season. So I started to think about that and reflect on that. And I said to myself, yeah, there's truth to that. Maybe I should start thinking of my life in seasons instead of thinking of it as just like a run-on sentence that just continuously goes and you just go with the currents of whether you're up or down, left or right, or whatever. Instead of looking at like that, looking at it in segments of seasons does something for me mentally, because it allows me to, in a sense, prepare. So, for instance, sometimes I have seasons where a lot of things are going well for me. And I would call my last year, about this exact date, I'm seeing all these different pictures of things that were going on based on, Facebook memories, Google photos that shows you all the things that were going on at this time last year. I was in the best shape that I had been in since high school. I was in Miami at this time last year, just destroying this race. Money was into things. I mean, I did have, but because of this way that I feel about seasons, I was like, I know that I'm going to enjoy this as best that I can, but it's not going to last forever. And that season that I'm talking about came to an end abruptly when I got the news about my dad. Then I went through a season of terrible, terrible depression and isolation. Then I kind of came out of that to an extent into a season of just rebuilding, repairing, and replenishing. And now I'm in a season of deficit where I have needs that are not being met. Some parts of that is just maybe depression and how it has overcome my life in certain ways, because depression looks different. I'm going to tell you that. Depression looks different for everybody. Some people, like even some of the people that I see as clients, their depression and how I see them living, it completely cripples them. And I'm not even saying that I have a higher capacity to deal with it than they do, because honestly, I did have a time period in my life where depression was very crippling to me, but I can still function with large amounts of depression. And I'm not even saying that as a way to brag. It's something that actually maybe hurts me, and nobody can tell. That's the whole thing, because I can still do everything that I'm doing. I do a lot in a week. I try my best to run this YouTube page, even though the YouTube page gets neglected sometimes, because out of everything I'm doing, this is the smallest priority. But I do the YouTube page, I do my 9 to 5 job, I do volunteer work, I do side work. There's a lot of different things that I do, and I haven't stopped any of those things. I still go to my gym, I still do everything, no matter what's going on in my life. I still keep going. But the issue is, it shows itself in little small details. Maybe with the way that I manage certain things in my life, the way that I manage my time, the way that I manage my stress. Like, those kind of things are little tiny things that add up over time to where I'm like, how did this happen? So that's what happened to me now, where I said, man, this is a tough season that I'm going through right now. But the perspective that I have gained in those previous times that I'm telling you about, and in that conversation with that friend, and how I have framed my life into seasonal framework, really helps me mentally, because no matter how I keep checking in with myself, staying positive, and a month or two from now, I could be on the same live telling you, I got through the storm, and now this is my season of abundance. You know how the way people get to like a November, December, and it gets really cold, and then most people that say they have seasonal affective disorder, for most people that occurs in the winter months when it's really cold outside and dark, and there's not a lot of sun like there is during other seasons, right? So I was kind of one of those people who at least was mildly impacted by seasonal affective disorder. Even though I've never been formally diagnosed with it, I have now been in this field 11 years, 12 years. So at this point, I know that if I went into some psychologist's office right now and described how I feel during this time of year, they would just add that to the list, because that's how diagnoses work. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with them, because yeah, I mean, it's in some cases it's good to know exactly what diagnosis you have, because it's good to treat it, but to know what to do to treat it. But on the other hand, everything can be a diagnosis, literally. If you ever want to know, if you don't know anything about psychology, go online and type in like DSM-10 codes, and then look some of them up, and you'll understand what I'm saying. Personally, I've been told I might have depression. The thing is, everybody has depression. The longer you live, the more that you're gonna have. But not everybody has clinical depression. So this is a whole other topic of itself. But just to briefly talk about that just a little bit. They always say that the difference between depression and a clinical depression, like one that needs to be formally diagnosed, is the duration of time that you're facing the symptoms and your ability to function through whatever symptoms you're facing. So some people have really mild depression. It's kind of underlying in the background, and it doesn't impact you too much on a day-to-day, and other people have really, really crippling depression to where you could go days and days and days not getting out of bed, not taking care of yourself, etc. But I would always recommend checking in with a therapist, a doctor. I would say a therapist because I've gone the route of asking like a general physician, and the general physician was like, oh, no big deal. You have general anxiety and clinical depression. That's normal for someone your age. Take this Xanax and everything's good from there. Take the Xanax as needed. And that was a problem in and of itself. But anyways, the same way how we have a summer, a spring, a fall, and a winter, that's 4 different seasons. Not everybody feels happy all 4 of those seasons. If you go ask somebody right now in your life, what's your favorite season? Somebody's going to say summer. Somebody say winter. Somebody's going to say autumn. Somebody's going to say spring. Somebody's going to hate winter. Somebody's going to love winter. Somebody's going to hate spring. Somebody's going to love spring. But if you go into the season you hate, feeling like this season is going to last me forever, the season is going to feel longer. And if you go into the season you love, feeling like that season is going to last forever, you're going to feel an extra crash when that season is over and now you're in your other season. So the transition from seasons mentally, this is a metaphor. That mental transition from season to season is really important. Just knowing that nothing lasts forever. Just knowing good times don't last forever. Bad times don't last forever. So my advice would be to savor the good times when you get them. To embrace the challenges and the struggles also, because they build courage, they build character, and they build perseverance. And to just know that life is just ever changing. So we can't, I wish that we could just find our pocket and just sit in that pocket of things that make us happy and sit in it forever. But obviously the most constant thing that we know that is always going to happen is change. So embracing change and learning how to accept it and move through it. And that's my little TED Talk message for the day. I hope everybody has an amazing Thursday. And I'm logging off, and we're going to talk again soon. Please make sure, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content.